A lot of different NFT projects over the past few weeks have continued to bleed in floor price. In today's video, I want to discuss my thoughts around why, which projects I'm currently looking at, and just my overall thoughts on where the NFT market is headed and potentially what is going to happen in the short-term, mid-term, and long-term future. If you've been on Twitter at all over the past week or two, then you are very aware that gas has been super high. People have been FOMOing everywhere over shitcoins and altcoins and microcap coins trying to make the next 100x bag. And without a doubt, there has been a ton of money to be made. My Discord has made a ton of money as well, trading these shit coins, trading these altcoins. There's a ton of money to be made. You just need to know the right tools to use, the right coins to pick, when to sell, when to buy, all these different things. That's what a really good Discord can provide you. If you're interested, you can check out the link in the description below. But if you combined really high gas as well as a shift of attention towards NFTs from this certain community to meme coins and small microcap coins, you'll start to get the picture as to why NFT projects are slowly bleeding in floor price. No one wants to trade NFTs if it costs $20, $30, $40, $50 to buy even the NFT itself. No one wants to trade NFTs if there's an overall sentiment agreement that NFT floor prices are going down and not up, and meme coins are where the money is currently at. The gamblers, the speculators, the degenerates, they're chasing the narrative. They're chasing the bag. They're chasing the money flow. That is where the money's headed, so that is where they're going to put their attention. And I think this leaves you with about three options. One, you can use this as an opportunity to potentially buy into the projects that you really believe in. Problem then becomes which projects are actually going to succeed and bounce back, which projects are just going to fade into black, and which projects are just going to go sideways for eternity and never really pick up any steam again. You can also look at this as like some sort of NFT reckoning, where a ton of projects are going to get decimated and never make their return. And a lot of people have been saying this, including myself, where I preach on this channel, 95% of projects that you're involved with, you should be flipping quickly, because if you hold these NFTs for too long, not only are you potentially fighting cryptocurrency prices and gas prices as they surge or decrease, because realistically, you know, 1 ETH is 1 ETH is true, yes, but the USD value peg to these cryptocurrencies really matter, because that's what you can use to pay for groceries and rent and improve your life quality overall. And if you don't fall into the first camp where you think this is a great entry, or the second camp where you think most NFTs are going to zero forever, you could potentially fall into the third camp where you think a lot of these projects are going to go to zero, but quite a few are going to stick around and continue to surge, because that's where the money is being concentrated and that's where the money and attention is headed. And for me personally, I think I'm a little bit of all three, to be honest. Like, I think potentially there's a few collections, very few collections, that you could see really good entries coming in potentially in the next few months, especially if the United States heads into some sort of recession. I also think I fall into the category of potentially thinking that a lot of projects are just headed to zero and not coming back. And I also think there's opportunity here for rebounds and for choosing the right project that have the attention, that have the momentum, that have the positive sentiment. I've been very public and preaching this idea of the projects that I'm invested in mostly, and that's, you know, Memeland, the Utes ecosystem. I like the Steady Stack guys. I think they're going to be here for a while, as well as a handful of other projects that I've been talking about. Obviously, Yuga. We're also going to talk about Yuga in today's video, where their floor prices have taken a hit quite dramatically, probably the lowest we've seen them in a while. Those are the projects that I'm betting on. And a lot of those projects have high entries, very high floor prices, because a lot of people believe in that ecosystem. And that's a part of the reason as to why I also believe in that ecosystem. That herd mentality, that cult-like behavior is great for NFTs because it builds confidence in the community to not list low and to not list at all. So I find myself being in basically all three camps, where I think a lot of projects are going to head to zero. I think some projects are going to have a glorious comeback, and I think a lot of projects are going to continue their trajectory higher and continue to succeed. And so what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at, you know, a few different floor prices for different projects, and we'll just briefly discuss my overall thoughts. And please don't take this as fudding. I'm just giving you my honest opinion, and you can take that and do with it what you will. Just because I don't like a certain project, or I think a project is potentially going to perform X or Y, doesn't mean that's going to happen. And I've been wrong 100 times, and I will continue to be wrong 100 times more. So take everything I say in this video with a grain of salt. All right, guys. So the very first project we're going to take a look at today is the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and they are now currently down the lowest listed on OpenSea, about 45 Ethereum, and it's probably a tad bit lower on Blur or Pro OpenSea, where listings are just a tiny bit less. But let's just take a look at this one right here, currently valued at $85,000, which is still a ton of money. But the very fact is that the Bored Ape collection used to be over 100, right? Pretty consistently over 100 when ETH was valued over $2,000 as well. So that USD peg has taken quite a hit as well. And so Bored Ape is looking a little bit weak, but obviously this is one of the bets that I'm taking that they're going to be around for a while. They have a huge war chest. The Ape coin I think is super bullish, and that's where I would suggest new investors looking to get exposure into the Yuga ecosystem potentially look, is the Ape coin. They have great narratives for the next bull cycle in cryptocurrency. I think that's going to be a particularly very interesting coin to watch and have exposure to because it's involved with the biggest NFT collection. Also has a really good solid couple narratives to potentially perform really well in the next crypto cycle. And so you might look at the Bored Ape community and the Bored Ape collection here and be like, oh boy, what is happening? And I've seen a lot of Twitter threads and tweets about if Yuga fails and the NFT ecosystem fails. And for more or less, I can somewhat agree, but I also somewhat disagree. But we need to take a step back and look at the people who got in early to these collections. Bored Ape Yacht Club minted for 0.08 ETH. Okay, then they got dropped a serum, which they could turn into the mutant apes, right? So for every Bored Ape, you got a serum, which turned into a mutant ape. Then you got airdropped Ape coin, which you could stake. Then you got airdropped a bunch of other different things. And so regardless if this floor price is down, every ape who got in at least decently early is up astronomically. And so if they want to sell and recoup some money here from the initial mint, the initial collection before a potential recession in the United States, I think that's more than fair to do so. More than likely between the Ape coin, the mutants, and all the different other airdrops and opportunities that they've had networking in their circle, they have made way more money than this $85,000 potentially indicates. Mutant apes are now at 10 ETH. This is the lowest I've seen them in a minute, but we have to remember that mutant apes, and I've made a video about this, mutant apes were at like 3.2, 3.3 Ethereum only like a year ago. And I believe ETH was at a higher price then, but regardless, this could definitely go lower and it wouldn't scare me as an investor. I'm not looking to ride the moonbags forever. There's going to be cyclical cycles and ups and downs and ebbs and flows. And then we get into some of the really interesting ones, which is CloneX as well as Doodles. And both have seen huge hits in their floor price, not only from holder sentiment, but potential miscalculations from the team on what to do with the project overall. But CloneX now at 2.6, Doodles now at 2.1. And these are two projects that I think potentially have the capital, the money, the ecosystem, the community to make a resurgence and a comeback eventually. But what I will say is it is a fairly risky bet because there has been a lot of issues with communication between founders and holders, and the Adidas thing, we don't really know where their focus lies and what they want to do with Web3 in the future. So these would be very risky bets, but potential options for somebody to looking to get into an ecosystem that has been flooded, battered, and seen a huge decrease in floor price over the past few months. What I would say is if you are looking to get into Doodles or CloneX, I would wait and wait and wait. And I would wait for potentially a much better entry because you could see the USD value, if ETH decides to correct from about 2K, go much lower. And then that would present the best opportunity to potentially buy into one of these collections. I'm not saying you should. I'm personally not. I have made it very public which projects I'm going to be investing in on the long term. These are not them. And just really quick, I think Moonbirds falls into that same category. 2.45 ETH from, I think their peak was like 30, 40 ETH. So absolutely insane potential gains if you flipped early and not doing so hot at the moment. Once again, same stuff I discussed with Doodles and CloneX, I think applies to Moonbirds as well. So here are my thoughts. I think the NFT market has taken a huge hit and a lot of the money has concentrated into a select few projects that are shiny and new and exciting and have a bunch of stuff coming. Gas has been high and the attention has focused into meme coins, which there has been a lot of opportunity to make money in that sector. But what you have to understand is that this is potentially fleeting. And what we've seen in the past is when meme coins go crazy and altcoins go crazy and there's a bunch of frenzy, FOMO, chaos in the air, that usually signals some sort of top. And that could mean that Bitcoin and Ethereum could see a bit of a retrace here in our near future. It's hard for me to want to say continue to FOMO into altcoins, buy a bunch of Bitcoin and ETH here, when we have seen a pattern in the past that suggests that when there is a FOMO frenzy over these super scammy rug pull altcoins and crap coins, that in the past has suggested that we have reached a top. But look, as someone with a plan and a portfolio and a percentage and an investor mindset, that doesn't affect me so much. And that's what I've been talking about on this channel for many months. Below $2,000 of ETH, I will continue to dollar cost average with a dynamic scale. So if we're closer to 2K ETH, I'll dollar cost average a little bit less. If we're closer to 1,000, I will turn on the printer a little bit more, and I will get more and more exposure more quickly. So you have to understand that if these NFT prices are super affecting you, if you're freaking out, if you think the NFT space is dead, if you're getting super toxic and super upset, then potentially you have to take a step back and understand maybe I over invested a little bit and I didn't have a plan, and I also didn't potentially take profits when I needed to. And you can use it as a learning experience, and hopefully it doesn't mess things up too badly for you, and you can kind of navigate this market in a different way, taking all those lessons and that baggage that you now have and apply it to future investments and future opportunities. My guess is that we're going to see another cycle for cryptocurrency, basically 100%. That's where my conviction is. Not financial advice, that could definitely not happen, but for me personally, I think crypto is going to go on another insane, face-melting, crazy bull run at some point in 2024 or 2025. We have the Bitcoin halving, we have potential lower interest rates, we're potentially going to be coming out of a recession, potentially going to be turning back on that money printer in the United States. There's going to be elections and potential tax adjustments, etc. So that money, the money flow from Bitcoin to ETH to potentially altcoins, potentially meme coins, potentially NFTs could very well see that cycle happen again. So the dollar cost average, the conviction into a select few projects, and just riding that wave. And when this mega cycle comes, making sure I take profits when I feel like I should be. And the same way you scale and dollar cost average into certain assets, you do the same on the way out. So if Bitcoin's hitting 5K, maybe I'm taking 10% off the table. If Bitcoin's hitting, 50K, 60K, maybe I'm taking 5-10% off the table. Let's say it goes to 100K, I'm taking more and more off the table, right? At least taking my initial investment off the table, right? So there's a lot of ways you can handle these markets, but you need to be very careful and have a plan and choose percentages of your portfolio that you're willing to risk in these super risky assets. Ton of money to be made, but also a ton of money to be lost. So take your time, make sure that you're choosing the projects that you decide to park your ETH in wisely. Don't be afraid to cut losses and move your money around to make better investments, make better adjustments, adjust your philosophy and your plan and your portfolio. All things people do on a daily and weekly basis who are smart investors. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out my private Discord in the description below if you're interested in getting into the meme coin and NFT and cryptocurrency and investment areas of your life. And I will see you guys in the very next video. Peace.